Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and today we're talking about Infinity War. Hopefully you've seen it. This is a spoiler discussion. If you don't want spoilers, in a nutshell, I loved it. It hurt like a gut punch, just wanting to destroy everything that you love, but I thought it was perfect. I thought it was emotional and action-packed and a climax to 18 movies worth of adventure. So I loved it. So now we're going to get into the spoilers and just talk about things that I thought were cool, things that I thought were weird, spoilerific details. So the coolest moments of the movie for me, and I want you down in the comments to talk about your favorite moments. So Thor had a very cool storyline. Stormbreaker was awesome, and I did not expect Thor and Groot and Rocket to make it to Earth. So when the Bifrost came down in the middle of that battle, Thor showed up. It was like the theater just went wild. One of the biggest pops of the night was Thor. Bam, people lost it. So that was super cool. I thought the hammer looked cool. Groot making it out of his arm was interesting, but really the only thing that Groot did, whatever. That was very cool. In a nutshell, the entire Wakanda battle was really cool. Lots of great action. The effects were great. Lots of very cool combinations of powers and people. And when like Okoye and Black Widow were fighting Proxima Midnight, which they never say their names. Like really the children of Thanos were really just like mini boss fights. But they never really explained who they were or gave them names, most of them. But the fight scenes were really cool. And that final battle, there was a lot to love about it. What not to love about that final battle is how the trailers straight up lied to us. There were clips in the trailers of that final Wakanda fight that included the Hulk. That big running shot of everyone running in slow motion at the camera, the hero shot, was not in the movie. So the whole time I'm thinking he's gonna Hulk out. He's gonna just like be in that Hulkbuster armor and Hulk and break out of that armor, and that would have been so cool. And I was like, this is gonna be the moment of the movie. That's it. And it never happened. He never became the Hulk. So this brings up a bigger question of, is it okay for trailers to trick you? I think it's okay for them to trick you if it's the way that they're maybe edited together, but this is straight up lying to you. Because it is like, that is not in there, but we're going to shoot this and put it in the trailer, make you think that that's what happened. There's the moment when Thanos is like kind of grabbing Captain America and he's like fighting. And in the trailer, it shows 2 stones. In the movie, he has, I think, 5 at that point. So they edit it specifically to make you think something different. So maybe that's a bigger question. If you want to talk about that in the comments, is that okay? Did that upset you? Like me, did that set you up for an expectation of this thing is going to happen? I know it's going to happen because I've seen it, and it didn't happen. So let's get into that. Down in the comments. Other things that I thought were cool. I think Star-Lord stole the show. I think Chris Pratt's performance here was super funny, right? But then he also had this depth. And most of it centered around Gamora, who I did not expect to die. I thought maybe Drax would die. I did not expect Gamora to die, which was emotional in and of itself. And then there's this big fight with Thanos, and you feel it, and you're like, oh my God, Star-Lord's about to find out, and he's going to lose it. And that gut-wrenching moment was like, oh. And that is going to impact Guardians 3, and really the Guardians forever from now on. And that's incredible, because when you think about like Age of Ultron, or even Avengers 1, the events that happened there, of course, play into the other movies. But this is like a big deal. Like a character from that franchise was killed in this movie. So now when you go back to Guardians, and when Guardians 3 comes out, Gamora's gone. I thought the whole idea of the Soul Stone and having to kill someone to get it, I thought was interesting. I think it worked. I think it's a satisfying, like, where is the Soul Stone? That makes sense. Because if it was anywhere else, it would have been like, oh, why didn't they introduce that earlier in another movie? Why didn't they tease that? But this made sense. The inclusion of the Red Skull. A lot of people predicted that Red Skull would be back. You know, I've got a video about who would show up in Infinity War, and I did not do well in predicting. But Red Skull, a lot of people were like, Red Skull's going to show up. He like went through the Space Stone, and he's somewhere, and he was there. It was not Hugo Weaving playing him, but it was someone else, but it worked. So that whole story arc of the Soul Stone and needing to kill Gamora, and then people finding out that Gamora died, was really cool. I want to talk about Thanos. Thanos nailed it. Thanos is hands down the most developed villain we've seen in a Marvel movie. This was his movie. He was empathetic. I understood why he was doing what he was doing. He was terrifying. In that opening scene when he just goes fist to fist with Hulk, knocks him out, I was like, this movie is not joking. And then he kills Heimdall and Loki. And you're like, okay, Thanos is a threat. And the stakes are high, and that is something that most Marvel movies are fun, but they don't really have a lot of stakes. You're like, they're not going to kill anyone. Quicksilver's really the only person that they killed, I think, ever. Maybe. So this is like, there are stakes. And this is important, and people that we care about are going to die. Loki has more fans than most of the Avengers. And Thanos just choked him out. So Thanos was an incredible villain. When he snapped his fingers, when he got all six, and he snapped his fingers, I made a noise that I didn't even know I could make. It was just like my heart breaking, and the whole theater was just like, what? And half the universe died. And then we get that montage of all the heroes, people that we care about, just dissolving. And of course, the most impactful one was Spider-Man, as he like just crumpled and said like, I don't feel well, and into Tony Stark's arms, and Tony had to hold him as he died. We know Spider-Man's not dead. We know Black Panther's not dead. We know something's going to happen to save most of those characters. But that still didn't lessen that moment. Was like, oh. For me, anyways. So Thanos and his threat and the stakes, all of that really worked for me. Other stuff that was really cool. The last thing I really want to talk about is the combination of characters and heroes that we got together. I think was really interesting. I think the Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, Spider-Man trip that we go on is fantastic. I think Doctor Strange really fit in here. And him and Tony Stark, we kind of had this, like, oh, they're going to be bros. But they, like, did not get along. But it made sense that their egos are so huge, there's no room for the other. So their dynamics was really incredible. And then seeing them fight together. And then you add in the Guardians, using their powers together and creating stepping stones, and their fight against Thanos when they almost get the glove off was some of the most superhero-y stuff that I've ever seen in just the right way. Like moments from the comic books right there for us to see. So overall, I loved Infinity War. It's not a great standalone movie. Like Civil War has a lot of really great character moments and development and quiet. Like there's a lot of things going on in that movie, and then a couple big fight scenes. Here, it's all climax. This is the third act of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there aren't really a lot of quiet moments, development. There's some characters, Black Panther, his whole arc is defend Vision while he's here. That's it, that's all he does. Civil War, no one was really that underserved, I don't think. So here, you just have to know that and be like, that's what it is. This is just the bang right, at the end of this story. And then hopefully the next Avengers is the resolution. How does this get solved? Where is Hawkeye? You know, there's going to be a lot of questions. Can Captain Marvel somehow save the day? You know, there's going to be a lot of unanswered questions that we have for the next year. And luckily, we only have a year. So after Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel, we can figure out how this gets solved and who actually lives and who actually dies. So down in the comments, I want you to talk about your coolest favorite moments. There's a bunch of cool moments that I didn't get to talk about. So just talk about like what in your theater was like, damn, that was cool. Tell me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.